It's kind of crazy to think that we're in 2021 and A Quiet Place came out back in 2018. It feels like the movie just came out not that long ago, and in a lot of ways it did. But here we are talking about the sequel now in 2021. Man, time flies. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, as you can see, we're going to be talking about A Quiet Place Part 2. So I'm incredibly excited to be talking about this movie. Finally got to check it out after it was delayed from 2020 to now 2021. Once again, written and directed by John Krasinski and starring Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmonds, and this time Cillian Murphy, who is definitely a big part of this movie. And I'll go ahead and jump straight into this by saying there will be no spoilers, and I'm going to do my best to try to keep this quick and concise. If you're a fan of the first A Quiet Place, I do really think you're going to enjoy this film. This is a really strong follow-up that has all of the elements that were positives of the first film, as well as some more world building and allowing us to kind of dip our toes a little bit more into this world. It picks up pretty much right where the last one left off, and if you saw the last one, you know, it kind of ends with this abrupt kind of ending, but a sense of finality at the same time. And so this one picks up right from there, and I think they do a really good job of keeping the tension high throughout the entirety of the runtime. Now, because these are films about, you know, creatures that go based off noise, and a lot of it is really based on the silence, there can be some slow moments from time to time. But as far as an overall film, this is an incredibly strong film and a great follow-up. I think I enjoyed the first film a little bit more, but overall this is an incredibly well-acted film with great set design, great costume design, great performances, very believable feel and vibe to everything that's happening. The stakes are high, it's visually fun to watch, and it's really not boring in any way, shape, or form. There are some slow moments, like I mentioned, but it's very few and far between. Overall, this is a really strong character film with a lot of really great moments. And one thing I really enjoyed about this film that I wasn't really expecting is that it really mainly focuses on Millicent Simmonds' character, who is the daughter of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt in these films. She's the deaf girl, and I really thoroughly enjoyed seeing her character kind of come into her own a lot more in this film. And she had her moments in the first film for sure, but I guess going into this, for some reason I thought that Emily Blunt would be the lead character, but it's more Millicent Simmonds. You know, everybody has their time to shine, but this film definitely highlights her character and the kids in general. They're given a lot more to do in this movie. And so what I'll say overall is I found this to be a really great follow-up to A Quiet Place. I think John Krasinski is just showing himself to be not only a great actor outside of the comedy genre, but a phenomenal writer and director, very similar to what Jordan Peele's been doing, you know, with just kind of dipping his toes into something a lot darker, a lot more creepy, a lot more tension built. And I think that this movie definitely follows suit with what we saw in the first A Quiet Place, and it leaves things wide open for a sequel. I don't really have very many negatives. I had a good time. It was just one of those great movies to kind of shut my mind off. I was very tense, and I had a lot of great times watching the movie throughout it, and the performances were so good, the effects were so good, and everything about just the production of the film was so strong that it kept me engaged throughout the entire thing. Now, what I will say is that this one, more so than the first one, doesn't really have that same mystery element to it, and so I think with this one, there's a little bit of a predictability factor now that we know a little bit more about these creatures and the story that's kind of unfolding in the world. So in this movie, though we do have those tense moments and we're sitting kind of on the edge of our seat, kind of wanting to see what happens with our characters, I think that for the most part, I kind of had an idea of when our characters were safe or when things were going to be a little bit more dangerous. There are a couple unexpected things, but for the most part, I found it to be fairly predictable as the film went on, but that doesn't remove any sort of entertainment value that I was getting from the movie, nor does it detract from any of the amazing technical elements that really make this a strong film. So A Quiet Place Part 2, highly recommended. I think if you can get to the theater and you're comfortable enough to get to the theater right now, you should definitely go check it out. This was actually the most packed theater that I've been to at all since the pandemic started, which felt nice for sure. You know, you could tell everybody wanted to stay nice and quiet and be able to just kind of enjoy the film for what it was, knowing that the sound design and all that was so crucial to the experience of a film like this. And speaking of the sound design, since this film does center a lot of its time on Millicent Simmonds, the sound design and the way that it was put into the film, especially in the moments where she doesn't know what's happening, where maybe there's something happening around her and she can't hear it, and then we get sound kind of coming back into the movie. I found the way that they did that, the way that they edited it all in, very strong. Really thoroughly enjoyed that element, and overall a really fun movie. Really enjoyed it. Found it to be a great follow-up to the first Quiet Place, though I will say I think I enjoyed the first one a little bit more. So yeah, that's gonna be my thoughts on A Quiet Place Part 2. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie. If you checked it out or you planning to check it out, leave any and all of those comments down below in the description box. Hit that like button, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.